this off with Jeff, and then we'll go to Ed.
Hey Kyle, congratulations. Welcome home, I guess. We all saw that video of you and your family there. I guess take us through what that phone call was like, and then what's going through your mind there as you're hugging your parents.
Yeah, I mean, I really had no idea who it was going to be, and then I got the call from the 215 number, and it was just a surreal moment. Obviously, growing up in the area, and just being around a ton of Eagles fans. It's you always dream of being a quarterback on the Eagles, but obviously, any team could have come and got me at that point. So just a surreal moment. A lot of hard work, obviously, was put in to get there, and just a great moment to share with all of them.
We'll go to Ed and then John.
Hey, Kyle. Congratulations. How much do you think, transferring to Syracuse kind of helped lift your draft profile, if at all?
No, it definitely did. Going there, obviously, threw the ball a ton last year, and there's a lot on my plate in terms of the offense. And that's exactly what we wanted as a quarterback, though. And it seemed like every game for us would come down to, one possession, and had to be great in 2-minute drives and situational football. And that's all the NFL is, too. So definitely prepared me. I know I got a lot better on and off the field. So going there was a great decision.
Go to John and then Martin.
To sort of follow up, and congrats again, Cal, but to follow up on that, the transfer, obviously you're at a very high profile program. Did you have more autonomy at Syracuse? What do you point to that maybe sharpened your ability as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I knew going from year one to year two, regardless of where I was last year, going from year one to year two as a starter, I was going to make a big improvement. And it was just a combination of a lot of things. I think going there with experience at Ohio State, having 12 games from 2023 under my belt, and being able to go back and study myself and understand the areas that I needed to get better in. And then on top of that, you just start seeing the game, and just it slows down, and you understand how to watch film throughout the week and how to prepare. And so it's just all those little things that necessarily don't come up, as a first year guy, but you start to understand how to approach the game. I'm going to your second year.
We'll go to Martin and then Zach.
Hey, Kyle. Congrats, obviously. I wanted to ask you about, what you know about the Eagles QB room. I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts has taken them to the Super Bowl twice in the last 3 years, but maybe the other guys like Tanner McKee, Dorian Thompson Robinson, how do you see yourself kind of fitting in with those guys? I mean, what can they kind of, seems like you guys all have like different styles, I guess. Like, how do you see that meshing?
Yeah, I think it's one of the strongest quarterback rooms in the entire league. And so Dorian and I actually trained together in California this offseason, so I've gotten to know him a good bit. We have the same quarterback coach. I haven't met Tanner yet, but obviously he played well when he got in last year too. So it's a great room to be in. A lot of guys with experience, obviously starting with Jalen and the other guys as well. So it's a great room. I'm super excited just to go in there and be a sponge, just pick up as much as I can, being the young guy in there.
We'll go to Zach and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, Kyle, if you think back to being either an Eagles fan or growing up in the area, what memories do you have of the Eagles as a kid? And then I saw that picture of you in a McNabb jersey. Were you old enough to watch McNabb as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, McNabb was the man when I was growing up. Obviously, being a South Jersey kid, that was kind of my idol, playing quarterback, and obviously he was the hometown star. So I mean, every year would go to a bunch of games at the Link, and even in high school, obviously going to St. Joe's Prep when we would win the state championship game, we would get sideline passes for the games. One game in like December after the state championship, we get to go and watch. So just a lot of great memories. I remember when I was in first grade, I played the halftime show at a Temple game in the Link and threw a touchdown pass. So a lot of great memories, and I'm looking forward to making some more.
We'll go to Jeff and then Rob.
Hey, Kyle, a lot of quarterbacks that make it to the NFL aren't used to being backups. And for most of your career, you've been the guy, but you did have to wait your turn at Ohio State. How do you think that'll help you here in the pros deal with not being the starter and probably not the backup entering your first season?
Yeah, I mean, I sat behind CJ Stroud for 2 years at Ohio State, and looking back on it, that was probably the best thing that could have happened for me as a young quarterback. Being able to sit behind a guy like that and just pick his brain, see how he prepares and how he goes about his business throughout the week, and just how he carries himself through the highs and lows. So that was great for me to see as a young guy, my first and second year at Ohio State. And so I'm looking forward to doing the same thing here. Obviously, Jalen is the guy, and I think that's going to be a great mentor and someone who I'm just going to try to mimic. And obviously, he's had a lot of success in the league, and it's not by accident.
We'll go to Rob and then Brooks.
Kyle, congratulations, man. I know today must have been very exciting for you. So really two questions. One, who was more excited, Coach Fran or Coach Roken? And then two, did you ever come here? Obviously, as a state champion, you guys get invited down here to training camp. Were you ever a part of that? And what will it be like now to be on the field as opposed to watching?
Yeah, I haven't talked to Coach Fran or Coach Rogan yet. I'm sure that he'll call me tonight. So I'll get back to you with an answer on that. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, grew up, going to Eagles games and, like you said, the training camps with the prep and just, been around the organization for a while now. And it still really hasn't hit me yet that, I'm on the team and I'm, a quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. So like that doesn't even seem real to say, but it is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. So I'm sure it'll hit me probably later tonight, but it's just super surreal.
We'll go to Brooks here.
Hey, congrats and welcome to Philly. I'm curious. This is a team that's valued the, quarterback room as a whole, and they just made a trade to bring a guy in. What is your perspective going on to a team where you'll be competing, to even be a part of a room, and what do you see in Philly for that and that opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it's a great room, a lot of talent, and nothing's going to be given. You have to go and earn everything and put good product on the field. So I'm excited to just get to work. And I think this whole draft process is a lot of stuff that it isn't real football. Throwing at the combine and t-shirt and shorts and the pro day and doing all that in my mind really isn't football. So I'm excited to get the playbook and learn, and then get in the field and compete.
We'll go to John and then Jeff.
Hey, Kyle, just about the pre-draft process, because obviously the Eagles do have Jalen Hurts on paper. They weren't looking for a quarterback. Did this surprise you at all that they were interested, or did you have a lot of pre-draft conversation with them?
I mean, I really only had, one Zoom with them and then, a couple meetings at the Shrine Bowl and then the Combine. So it was, pretty standard for a lot of teams across the league, to have a Zoom meeting and then just meet together at the Combine and whatnot. So, I wasn't going into the draft thinking, okay, Philly's, at the top of, the places that I think I could end up. And I got a few prank calls earlier in the day from 609 numbers and 215 numbers. So I'm like, all right, when I got that 215 phone call, I was thinking it was just another prank call. But picking up the phone and having Howie on the other side was pretty cool.
We'll go to Jeff and then Zach.
Kyle, obviously you and Trot spent 4 years together at the Prep and won a state title. Have you heard from him yet? And what do you think you can learn from him in terms of playing for your hometown team? Obviously, a little different with him and his father having played for the organization. But how do you think that'll play out? And have you heard from Trot yet?
Yeah, no, he reached out right away. He's super excited. Just like the old high school days together. So he's excited to play together again. And, I'll use him as a resource. Obviously, he went through this process last year being a rookie in the organization. And so just, picking his brain about, what he wishes he would have known going into the whole process and, just advice. And I think it is comforting knowing that you're going in there with a familiar face and a guy that you grew up playing with. So, I'm definitely going to, use him as much as I can.
We have time for two more, so we'll go to Zach and then Dave.
Yeah, following up on the prank call thing, not necessarily prank call, but I imagine get a lot of 215 calls, right? Being from the area. So I guess when those calls are calling, how do you know when it's going to be the real thing? Are you thinking this is legit? It's not legit. What's that process like during the day?
I didn't really think it was going to be legit, to be honest, because I got a bunch of 215 calls, obviously leading up to the draft, and obviously sitting there anxious, to see what area code pops up, and it was 215. So I'm thinking, I don't know who it's going to be, and then I picked up the phone, I was like, hello, and then to hear Howie's voice on the other side, it was like, all right, that's not what I expected, but super pumped that it happened.
We'll finish with Dave here.
Who were the culprits before when you got some prank calls? Did you find out?
No, I don't know. I mean, they acted like there are a few different teams, and it's pretty easy to quickly figure out who's not being serious when you hear them like laughing and smirking. So obviously you're anxious to get that phone call, and you never know who it's going to be. But I'm just happy that the one I did get from the 215 area code one was legit.
Thanks again, Kyle, and congrats.
Thank you guys.